Welcome to Mischief Wargaming. I'm John, and this is Blood Bowl. Continuing the second round of the Mischief Cup, we're on to Game 2. The Wood Elf Wyldeglade Wanderers face off against the Imperial Nobility of the Dünderhaven Dukes. The Wanderers have had a rough go of their first round matchup against the Darkmire Monster Mash. With their capture Ashton out injured, and the death of Flystone the lineman, the team has had to supplement their squad with 2 Elven linemen. Besides that, the only real thing of note is that Half the War Dancer has the strip ball skill. The Dünderhaven Dukes, however, are in a better position. They finished their last game relatively unscathed, but are still behind the Wanderers in current team value. This gives them 80,000 gold in petty cash, which they use to hire the season's first star player, Khorne the Squirrel. He may be small, but he can be very dangerous. He comes with Dauntless, and his Blind Rage ability lets him re-roll the Dauntless roll. Couple that with Frenzy and Claws, and this little guy can really do some damage. The pre-game begins with a healthy number of fans attending. The weather isn't favourable, however, as a 12 means a blizzard has hit, making passing difficult and rushing more risky. Dünderhaven wins the coin flip and elects to kick first. Both teams are set up, with a retainer remaining in reserves for the Dukes. The ball is kicked. And the kickoff result is brilliant coaching. Which gives the Wanderers an extra reroll for this drive. With the ball coming to rest, the game begins. Serdan moves in to collect the ball, which he does easily. The Open Wanderers move in to support Serdan and get in the way of any approaching Dukes. Nienna then blitzes Oscar Haymair Black. Causing the bodyguard to stumble, but fails to break his armour. Erin then blocks Edward Herod Price, knocking him to the ground, but remains unharmed. Green Rose and the 2 journeymen dodge away from a line of scrimmage while still providing an obstacle. The Dukes begin their offensive by moving in before Randall Havendish IV blitzes Merylwen, throwing her back before continuing towards Serdan. The rest of the team move up, and I make a mistake on the first turn. Go me. I forgot about Sir Ben's bonehead roll. But with that, the opening turn comes to an end, and Merylwen gets back to her feet. Elva blitzes Havendish, causing him to stumble. But it frees up Serdan to move up. Halef blocks Haymare Black, but it does nothing as the bodyguard has stand firm. Nienna then blocks Walter Taffington Wheatley, who fails his attack, causing the Wanderers to have to use their free reroll already. It lets the War Dancer push the retainer back, however. Like before, the rest of the team dodge away from the Dukes. The Dünderhaven team begins by standing Cavendish up. Acorn the Squirrel then blocks Nienna. Rolling for Dauntless, a roll of a 2 doesn't beat the War Dancer's strength, but Acorn's Blind Rage ability lets him re-roll the dice. The end result lets him count his strength as 3 for this block. With the nearby assists, the tiny squirrel is throwing a 2-die block, which knocks Nienna to the ground. Thanks to his Claws trait, he then tears through the War Dancer's armour. The injury roll makes things worse as a casualty is rolled. A 15 means Nienna is dead. Thankfully for the Wanderers, they have an apothecary. However, it seems the Wood Elf medicine isn't exactly as effective, as the same result is rolled. The Wanderers have permanently lost another player, only this time it's a War Dancer. After the Squirrel has dealt such a major blow to the Elven team, Harold Potter Smith blocks the female journeyman, pushing her back. The rest of the team move in before I remember Bonehead. And Sir Benjamin Benedict Bennett blitzes Aaron. Despite the strength advantage, he only manages to push the elf back. Turn 3 and things are already looking grim for the Wanderers. Losing a War Dancer is going to significantly impact the team for the rest of the league. The male journeyman throws a block at Cobblepot Lee, pushing him back. Elva manages to knock the other blitzer down. But little more. Merowyn blitzes Taffington Wheatley, but only pushes the retainer back. The remaining War Dancer, Halef, leaps away from danger and moves up. This lets Serdan dodge away and throw a short pass. Despite the blizzard, the pass is successful. And Halef catches the ball. The female journeyman then pushes Acorn around to end the turn. The Dukes begin by positioning Terred Price before Acorn the Squirrel tries to block Halef. Dauntless works, but is only able to push the War Dancer away. Unfortunately for the Dukes, Khorne is a frenzied squirrel and must block again, this time failing Dauntless, even with his blind rage reroll. This means the Wanderers get to choose which block result to go for, and since War Dancers have block, the choice is clear. Khorne goes down and is stunned, causing a turnover. The Wanderers immediately try to capitalise on this break as Surdown blitzes Terrid Price. Knock him to the dirt. And freeing up Halef to run towards the end zone. The rest of the team begin dodging away from the Dukes, and all are successful, except for Callan, who is tripped over, ending the Elven turn. The Dukes need to try and catch Halef, but with Khorne out of action for this turn, there's nobody able to catch up to the War Dancer. Instead, the Dukes try to inflict some more damage before the inevitable touchdown. Sir Ben passes his bonehead roll and blitzes the female German, but is only able to push her back. The rest of the team move before I make a dumbstick and perform a second blitz, this time with Havendish. While he knocks the elf down, Elva is unhurt and will not ultimately impact the game, but this was still a silly mistake to have made. Cavendish Jones then tries to foul Callan, but it doesn't work. That then ends the turn, and the Wanderers waste no time in scoring that touchdown, leading the game 1-0. With the Dukes receiving the ball, the Wanderers roll on the kickoff table. Brilliant coaching means the Nobility gain an extra roll for this drive. The ball lands and Cobb Hotley immediately puts that reroll to use as he initially fumbles the ball. But eventually picks it up. Tavrington Wheatley and Haymer Black move in before Sir Ben blocks the male journeyman. The elf stumbles, but his armour holds. Terrid Price blocks Eleanor. Sending her flying, but leaving her unharmed. Gordon Pike moves up while Dirk blitzes the other journeyman. She's sent stumbling back, but her armour holds. Cavendish Jones blocks Elva, but with a both down result, he uses his wrestle skill to bring them both down unharmed and avoids the turnover. This lets Potter Smith and Acorn move in. Turn 6 begins with the downed elves getting back to their feet. Before Sirdan blitzes that pesky squirrel. The blitz knocks Acorn down. But the star player's measly armour is still enough to protect him. The rest of the team move in, turn the turn. The Dukes see Acorn the Squirrel use his jump up skill to stand and block Sirdan. The Dauntless roll works and the elf is sent to the floor. Potter Smith blocks Green Rose, causing the lineman to stumble. Haymer Black does the same to Erin. Both blitzers move in. Before Sir Ben fails his bonehead roll, standing there confused for the rest of the turn. Dirk blocks the female journeyman, pushing her back. Elizabeth Gordon Pike then blocks the other journeyman, but rolls a both down result. While the journeyman's armour holds, The retainer is stunned. However, a turnover still happens. The elves start by dodging away from the dukes. Serdan needs to use a reroll to make it. The female journeyman also fails her dodge roll, but being a journeyman, a reroll wouldn't be worth using because of their loner skill. Worse, the fall breaks her armour and knocks her out. The Dukes are straight back on the offensive, moving in before Cavendish blitzes the remaining journeyman. The elf stumbles and is stunned. Cobblepot Lee manages to dodge successfully. Cavendish Jones then pushes Elva back, before Dirk knocks her to the ground. But her armour protects her. Sir Ben then remembers what he's supposed to be doing and throws a punch, but is only able to push the elf back. The squirrel then moves in, and Taffington Wheatley pushes Marrowen around. Terrid Price tries to attack Callan, but is knocked down himself. His armour holds, but another turnover occurs. The last turn of this half sees the Wanderers get back up as Marrowen blocks Acorn. The squirrel is knocked down, but his armour holds. The War Dancer then blocks Tuffington Wheatley, causing him to stumble. But the retainer is otherwise unharmed. This isn't good enough, apparently, and Serdan performs a foul. Erin dodges. And blitzes Cobblepot. The blitzer is then knocked down, freeing up the ball. It bounces in Erin's direction and they catch the ball, stealing possession from the Dukes in the last moments of the turn. The Dukes waste no time as Randall Cavendish IV blitzes Erin. Stunning them. The ball bounces free, but there's no chance for the Dukes to score, so they choose to end their turn and bring the first half to a close. The Wyldeglade Wanderers are leading 1-0. The female journeyman recovers from being knocked out and will be on the pitch for the beginning of the second half. Both teams are set up again, with the Dukes receiving the ball. The ball then also deviates off the pitch, causing a touchback. It's then given to Cobblepot. The kickoff result is cheering fans. And after a roll-off, the Dukes make a prayer to Nuffle. The god of Blood Bowl hears them and a fouling frenzy begins. This means that casualties caused through fouls generate star player points as if they were normal blocks. And the second half begins. The open players move in, while Cobblepot, ball in hand, blitzes Eleanor. The elf stumbles, but her armour holds. The blitzer then continues to move up. The rest of the team moves in to support. While Sir Ben blocks Green Rose, knocking the elf to the ground. Acorn the Squirrel goes to block, but he fails his Dauntless roll even after his Blind Rage. This leads to him getting a boot in the face, causing a turnover. Green Rose and Eleanor stand up while Marilyn moves in. Halef tries to blitz Cobblepot, pushing the blitzer back. Elva, Callan and Serdan dodge. And I forget that Green Rose has already acted this turn as he dodges. Aaron moves in as both journeymen then also dodge. Acorn the Squirrel gets back up, while a majority of the Dukes move into position. Elizabeth Gordon Pike then charges at Eleanor. The blitz causing the elf to stumble. An attack which ends up stunning her. Coilpot Lee tries to dodge away, but even after a reroll, fails. His armour holds, but he still drops the ball and causes another turnover. Eleanor gets back to her feet. Erin blocks Oscar Haymayer Black, knocking him down. Merowyn blitzes Gordon Pike, causing her to stumble, but nothing more. Halef then runs in and picks up the ball. Then performs a leap over the opposition. Lastly, Callan and Serdan dodge away from the nobility. It's turn 11 and the Dukes get back to their feet. Acorn moves up, while Dirk dodges away to perform a blitz against Halef. He uses his wrestle skill to bring them both to the ground. While neither are injured, it does cause the War Dancer to drop the ball. Sir Ben passes his bonehead roll and blocks Callan, pushing him back. Edward Terred Price then blocks the male journeyman, pushing him back. Halef gets back up and blitzes the squirrel. He easily overpowers the star player and stuns him. He then reacquires the ball. Aaron throws a block at Haymare Black, causing him to stumble. Merowyn then blocks Cobblepot Lee, knocking him down, but nothing more. Greenrose then pushes Havendish back. While the female journeyman moves in and ends the turn. Dirk gets back to his feet and blitzes Halef. Unfortunately, the attack doesn't go well and is knocked back down, ending the Duke's turn. The Wanderers are in a much better position, but they decide to try and get some hits in, as Merowyn blocks Cobblepot Lee. With 2 both down results rolled, a reroll was needed, and the Duke is then pushed into the crowd. He's stunned, but it doesn't matter, since the Wanderers aren't taking any more risks, and Halef just runs and scores the second touchdown of the game. With play reset, the ball is kicked. And a kickoff results in a high kick. This lets Walter Taffington Wheatley get into position to catch the ball. He doesn't, and it comes to rest. Turn 13 begins, and Walter picks up the ball. Before the open players move in. Acorn the Squirrel rolls for Dauntless before blocking Callum. The elf is knocked down, but his armour is enough to protect him. Kerrith Price blocks the male journeyman. Knocking him down and stunning him. Sir Ben passes his bonehead roll and punches at Merylwen, stumbling the elf. Lastly, Oscar Haymare Black pushes the female gentleman back. Wanderers focus on standing up their players. Before Elva dodges away. Eleanor blitzes Acorn Squirrel, but is only able to push them back. And the elves end their turn after Haleth moves. The Dukes are unlikely to win at this point in the game, but they can still cause some damage. Acorn dodges away before blitzing Aaron. He fails his initial Dauntless roll, but Blind Rage passes. Unfortunately, it's a double both down result. Aaron ends up stunned. But Acorn's measly armour breaks and a casualty is rolled. That is some star player points for Aaron and a dangerous player removed from the field. After that turnover, the Wanderers get into position. Sir Dan blitzes Taffrington weakly, knocking him down and fraying up the ball. This lets Greenrose dodge away from the attackers and he runs in to pick up the ball. Lastly, Haleth leaps over the Dukes before dodging away. The Dünderhaven Dukes don't have many options left, but they try descending on Greenrose. Randall Havendish IV blitzes the ball carrier, knocking him down. They end up stunned, but importantly, they also drop the ball. The Ogre then continues his assault on Merylwen. His mighty blow coming useful as it allows him to break her armour, stunning her. Lastly, Harold Pottersmith blocks Eleanor, pushing her back. The Wanderers still have a chance of scoring a third touchdown. After Aaron gets back up, Halef tries blocking Dirk. A push result is rolled, but that isn't enough. The Wanderers need Dirk down, so they use a reroll. A risky move that doesn't pay off, as an attacker down result is rolled. The War Dancer's armour holds, but a turnover is caused anyway. For the last turn of the game, the Dukes have no chance to score, so instead they focus on earning some star player points. This starts with Havendish blocking Serdan, causing him to stumble, but his armour holds. Cobblepot Lee then sees a similar result when he blocks Elva. Dirk manages to pick up the ball, if only to prevent the Wood Elves from having an easy chance to score. Sir Ben blocks the male journeyman, causing him to stumble. Oscar Haymayer Black blocks the female journeyman. This time breaking her armour, but is only able to stun her. Potter Smith blocks Callan, but is only able to push him back. Cavendish Jones blocks Eleanor, causing her to stumble. But her armour protects her. And Edward Terrad Price moves. The Wanderers then announce that they immediately end their turn, and it ends the game. The Wyldeglade Wanderers win 2-0 against the Dünderhaven Dukes. Both teams collect their winnings, and the Dukes earned a decent amount of cash. After that push of momentum in turn 2 with the death of Nienna, I thought the Dukes had the game in the bag. However, as it turned out, it's hard to make strength and armour count if the opposition can just keep dodging out of the way. With a single blitz action per turn, it's a good way to limit the damage a bashy team can do to the more fragile teams. That said, Acorn Squirrel more than pulled his weight. For a cheap star player, killing a War Dancer is huge. While the team didn't score anything, they also didn't suffer any losses, which compared to some of the other teams in this league will prove to be an advantage going forwards. The randomly generated MVP was Randall Havendish IV, and the team ultimately lost some dedicated fans. Unfortunately for the team, the only casualty caused was by Acorn Squirrel, who as a star player means those points are essentially lost. The only advancement to make then is Randall Havendish IV chooses a skill and picks dodge. With their winnings, the team purchases a secondary role, and here is the team's updated roster. The Wyldeglade Wanderers had a mixed bag of a game. Whilst they won the game and got a nice pile of cash and a good number of star player points, they also suffered a massive loss. War Dancers are some of the most powerful and expensive starting players in all of Blood Bowl. They are big investments, and losing one is a huge blow. After the bad work the Apothecary did in the previous video, and the Wanderer's Apothecary also failing miserably, I'm beginning to wonder about the state of the medical aid provided in the sport. However, the team managed to keep the rest of the players alive, and they used their speed and agility to keep the ball in the Duke's half. The randomly generated MVP was Callan, and both Aaron and Callan earned star player points. The only advancement, however, is that Halef chooses the tackle skill, which makes an already strong player even stronger. Otherwise they'll hold on to the gold and star player points, and here's the updated roster. Lastly, here are the league standings for that round. The Wanderers earn 3 points for a win, and an extra point for not conceding any touchdowns. This keeps them firmly in the lead, while the Dukes are seriously struggling. And that's the second game of the second round complete. I realised that whilst making the previous video that the lighting was all over the place, and I apologise for the same again happening for this video. The next one should be better. Overall, the game didn't go how I expected it to. The War Dancer's death will certainly impact the team moving forward, but the Dukes weren't able to capitalise and still lost out. On the other hand, I thoroughly enjoyed using Acorn Squirrel. It's not often I use star players, so getting a chance to use one in a video like this was pretty cool. And Acorn Squirrel is a very fun design for a star player. And as shown, that even though he's a strong player, he won't win you the game. But rerollable, Dauntless and Claws is a dangerous combination. The next game sees the final two teams face off. The Lizardmen of the Hexoatl Sun Warriors versus the Halflings of the Greenshire Greats. Until next time, thank you very much for watching, and take care.